All I want to do is to help you understand you don't have to be wrong anymore. You can just change your mind, flip a switch, and believe something else. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Shtick To Sports, a Jamal Out Loud production brought to you in part by TitansReport.com. You may know me from the Two-Tone Group podcast. You do know me from the Two-Tone Group podcast. It's a world-renowned podcast, probably conservatively the most listened to podcast of all time. It is the official podcast of TitansReport.com. I am, you could say, the talent. That is my nickname, the talent. And I know what you're thinking. Yes, I could pull off giving myself a nickname, but did I? No. My co-host did. No, I'm not a professional. No, I don't work on radio or TV. And no, thank you for asking, I am not a male model. My assistant John Boy requested, humbly, that I consider doing these. You see, he's been doing them for a couple of weeks now during the preseason, and he requested that I begin to follow suit, maybe support him in his efforts. I know that you sit there enraptured by my voice, by my poorly grown stubble, and you can't help but ask yourself, how can I get more of this? Well, here I am. I have not yet figured out what I will be doing on a week-to-week basis, but I'm working on it. I want to start by giving you a little bit of background. You see, there are, if we're being politically correct, many people on the internet, social media, with mental deficiencies. I invite you, assuming you are one of them, and if you're on TitansReport.com, odds are good. Assuming you are one of them, join me. Make this a part of your weekly regimen, and I promise you, if you shut up and listen, you will learn something. You see, I am intelligent, attractive, commanding, a good listener, still fairly fast, and most of all, humble. You see, if I didn't tell you, I'm afraid you wouldn't know. And so I am telling you. I'm good at what I do. Give me time. I will learn this video thing. I'll find better costumes. One of the things that is clear this preseason, as it has been for a couple of years now, there is a quarterback who is better. And I'm going to encourage you to do something that the Titans haven't always been good at. And that those of you on TitansReport.com, some of you, you know who you are. We certainly do know who you are. You aren't doing it right now. And what is this it thing that I keep referring to? Well, thanks for asking. It is, pay attention. Who plays better? They're probably the better quarterback. You see, Jake Locker, when he is outplayed by Matt Hasselbeck, maybe not in the preseason, but just in general, Matt Hasselbeck, weak arm, more astute, could run an offense. He was better. The Titans got rid of him at the end of the season, brought in Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick, what did he do? He looked better. He ran an offense better. They did have to change it mid-season to suit him a little bit better. After Jake, again, broke our hearts, was found wanting of talent, of consistency, of all of the qualities, almost, that you truly need. Last preseason, who was the better quarterback? Zach Mettenberger, who was telling you, me among others, they did not pick up his fifth-year option, Jake Locker, that is. These things should tell you something. Now, some of you had to find out the hard way. I'm encouraging you not to do that again. Granted, the preseason is over. Granted, we won't be seeing Zach Mettenberger again unless Marcus Mariota is injured. But I encourage you to recognize Marcus Mariota is better, even like immediately today. He can run a system effectively. He is consistent. He has amazing accuracy. He picks things up pre-snap. He's a better athlete. Zach Mettenberger, good quarterback, good prospect. Consistency issues? Certainly. He is, now bear with me on this, a Ken Whisenhunt of quarterbacks. And by that I mean, Ken Whisenhunt, when he had a quarterback, when he has had a quarterback, has looked very good. Kurt Warner said it. He needs a quarterback. Phillip Rivers, Kurt Warner, Ben Roethlisberger, Ken Whisenhunt made his name. Without them, 2-14, friends. He brought Arizona to the Super Bowl. That should win you like 5 years at least of patience. He didn't get it. Do you know why? Just not good. Not good enough without it. Zach Mettenberger. Without an offensive line, without a good running game, I question how effectively he could put his skills to use. He has skills. Can he put them to use? Can he rise above? You see, even some of the people on TitansReport.com who promote him the most say, well, if everyone else does what they're supposed to. Okay, there's your caveat right there, friends. Marcus Mariota, can he rise above? Can't tell you for sure. He's shown some of those qualities, though. He's shown qualities, actually, that give you promise that he could be. It's okay to hope, to feel like maybe he's going to be elite. He's not going to be just good. Now, if you get to the point where you're saying he's going to be, you're an idiot. But you can say he's shown some of those positive qualities, and that's okay. Another thing you need to pay attention to, the Titans are going to struggle at running back. Odds are good. Bishop Sankey, they did take him, first running back taken last year in the second round. And then what did they do? They talked about how he had to do things differently than in college. They almost like intentionally avoided giving him a chance to be a bell cow back. And he was competing with, well, some of the same scrubs we still have. Maybe not scrubs, but just not high quality guys in terms of bell cow potential. You know, Sean Green, for instance, Dexter McCluster. They should have taken towards the end of the year one of those games. I think I even wrote an article about it. Give Bishop Sankey a ton of carries. Let's see how he does. But they didn't. Do you know why? Because the carries he got. And then what did they do? Yes, they drafted another running back. And yes, they hyped him a bit. And now they've got issues with his professionalism. Take a note of that, by the way. And now they're also talking about, well, maybe we're going to consider picking up another running back. What that all tells you, dissatisfaction. Come to terms with the fact that the running game might be a problem. And I don't know that it's going to be this year because of the offensive line. I don't have faith that they're going to be great. They might not even be good, but they won't be like truly a problem as they have been for a couple of years now. I think they're slowly getting that figured out, and I think that Marcus Mariota with quick decisions is going to alleviate some of the problems we had previously. Put all this together. Add in the fact that you've got some wide receivers who I think maybe we don't have any elite players, but I think we've got some potential there and we've got a lot of options that are worthy. I think you're going to have a much smoother functioning offense this year. And I actually predict that the offense will enable the defense to look okay as well. And I think what you're going to see is a Titans team that I'd be surprised if they truly battled for a playoff spot. I would not be surprised if they were winning 7 games. They became a tough out. They became a team that could compete against the bad teams, compete against even the good teams. Something we haven't seen in Tennessee for a while now. I think you're going to see some of the additions along the defensive line and the maturation as well. Going to help out. I do think cornerback, especially while McCourty is out, going to be a bit of a struggle. Linebackers, I'm not sold. I think that between linebackers and cornerbacks in the secondary, safety I'm pretty good with actually. I do think we are going to need to be able to rely on a bit of pressure from the defensive line, some scheme, and also the offense to be able to come in, take advantage, not put the defense in bad positions. And when we do have bad field position, have the offense be able to flip that sometimes. I think that's what we're going to need. Now we are approaching the first game, and I'm kind of excited. It's against Tampa Bay. Last year, they tanked in a just terrible way. Very difficult to accept that they did it at the time, but really all it did was it won them the right to choose the wrong quarterback. As Winston has said recently, Tampa Bay has been studying Titans film since OTAs. And you see this from teams in the NFL. In the first week, teams have taken quite a bit of time to prepare. And it's not always indicative, number one, of the game that they're going to play. Sometimes the other team surprises them, right? Yes. And only one team can win. But what you don't get is in the future, in other weeks, your team cannot prepare the same way. And so you may have a team that performs really well, but then in succeeding weeks, let's say maybe the Tennessee Titans of last year, week 1 looked very good. Week 2, week 3, week 4, week 5. You get the picture. Not as good. And I think a lot of it had to do with not having as much time to game plan, to really get things in a groove before you go out and play the other team. So what I'm going to encourage you to do, even if we lose, but especially if we win against a team that was 2-14 last year, even if we dominate them, doesn't mean we're going to be awesome. Give it some time. Let this thing play out a little bit. And don't take too much from week 1, other than the joy of seeing football. I'm excited this year. I'm excited to see the new quarterback. I'm excited to see what impact, if it's discernible, Dick LeBeau has. I'm excited just in general for football. And I'm excited to come back next week and do something entirely goofy, maybe a little bit better costume, maybe a little bit more organized in my thoughts. Titans Report poster of the week. This week I'm going to go with Big Double N Nashville Ninja. I do question your sanity at times, but I also respect your sense of humor, and by that I mean it's a bit wacky. You're not weird necessarily in the way that some others 9-9s are weird. You're weird in the way that maybe I'm weird sometimes. You see, you've got jokes that just, they're not funny, but sometimes they are so not funny that they are funny. That's what I shoot for all the time. And I don't always get there. Sometimes I have jokes that are not funny and they're just, hey, they're not funny. That's why they're called jokes that aren't funny. However, you hit me with things like, are you ready for some hand egg? And I go into that thread confused, and I look at your picture, and I shake my head, and I close the window, and 5 minutes later I laugh, and that's the sort of thing I can respect. Poster of the week, Nashville Ninja. Tweet of the week. Tweet of the game. I don't know what I'm going to call it. Another thing I don't know. Look at that, there's 2. I'm going to give it this week to Tom Gower. I didn't pay a whole lot of attention to Twitter during the game. It's the 4th preseason game. You know how worthwhile it is? Not much. But what I did see was a tweet from Tom Gower, Thomas Gower, at Thomas Gower? I don't know. Look him up. He does TotalTitans.com. The tweet I'm thinking of is one that was in relation to Justin Hunter. What you got with this tweet and why I liked it. A little bit of snark. A little bit of analysis. A little bit of a just, hey, this is what's going on. Basically said, hey, Justin Hunter made a catch. He told you the defense, and he told you no one was around Justin Hunter. You can read between the lines on that, but he gave you that defense, and that's why I'm going to call it the tweet of the week. Let me hit you with the thread of the week. Though I am quite intelligent, can do this on my own, I'm happy to take your suggestions to work with you. If you want to PM me, hit me up on Twitter. You could even tag me in threads. Or you could just completely ignore me. That's fine too. If you think a thread is maybe like thread of the week worthy, let me know. This week, the thread I'm going to choose, and yes, it's related to what I'm doing right now. It's John Boy's take. John Boy is out there putting together pretty good content, especially for fans. He's good at what he does. He puts a lot of work into it. He has his John Boy take, which is largely a recap with some thoughts on Titans games. He also just debuted a thing. I want to say it's called. I want to say it's called 2 Minute Drill. He's going to talk 2 minutes about a given subject, and you're going to see how it goes. I think that sort of thing is just fun. It adds to the life of being a fan, and in fact, I think the internet is capable of this sort of thing. Many of you, let's be honest, many of you are too stupid, but many of you are capable enough. I think that you could be writing blogs, you could be writing articles, you could be doing things like Superhorn does. Dig into the All-22, make some GIFs. Let's see it. And yes, I know, GIFs. I don't care. GIFs is what I'm calling it, because that's how it's spelled. Make some GIFs. Show us what you think. Hit us up with it. Fans, look, we've got potential. Now, not all of you are going to make something as wonderful as this, clearly. But you can do something. And I encourage you to do it. Until next week, this is Jamalisms. And I'm going to stick to sports.